We're very lucky to have a connection with the Navy SEALs. And the Navy SEALs invited us to Coronado. They had never ever worked with a college team. They had worked with a bunch of professional teams. The special things that they did was their training. So they would break everything down into steps. So they would say, this mission is going to take 32 steps, and here are their steps. And then they would train and train and train till those 32 steps became second nature. And so they wouldn't think about step 2 until they were done with step 1. So I think that's very relatable to any business. Look, success is about process. Always focus on process. And so when you're playing a tennis match, it's point by point. You know, you can say the same thing for football, baseball, basketball. It's play by play. Their whole point was they were going to show us the difference between pain and being uncomfortable. And to be successful in anything, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And they showed us that very quickly. And it was all about the process of trying to complete something to get a W, to get a win. So it's all about getting a W, but focusing on the W is the mistake everybody makes. Focus on all of the steps it takes to be successful. And no matter what you're doing in life, there are steps. So let's focus on this, then we're going to focus on that and go on and not worry about the finish line or what you might think is the hardest thing. So worry about that process. Put the tough part out of your head. There's a saying that people don't care what you know until they know you care. That was super important for me to understand, and I don't think I understood that until I had my own children. And I'm super fortunate to have 3 great boys and have great relationships with them. But when those boys were born, I understood love at a different level. And that really helped me now mentor and foster those relationships. So, but my goal was to really foster a relationship with all of my players. And it was never just about our job at hand, right? It was the whole picture. You know, how are things going at home? You know, it's Mother's Day. Make sure you call your mom. You know, how's school going? Talk about and care, genuinely care about other things. So I found it very important to spend one-on-one time with them. And when they saw that I genuinely cared, they would know that, you know, I had a love for them that just wasn't about how if they won or lost in a sporting competition. And I always said, like, look, I can fail and I'm not afraid to fail. But if I try 10 new things and one of them works, I'm 10% better. And if I can get 10% better each year, holy moly, in 10 years, I'm going to be 100% better. So that was always my mindset. You have failures in life. Nobody's perfect. And, I always looked at if I won, I won. And if I lost, I learned. So you try and change, I always say, I go for the W, right? But if you get an L as a loss, you got to turn the loss into a learn. So it's not a win and a lose, it's a win and a learn. You can learn when you win, and that's perfect, but you're going to learn a lot more when it hurts. When you lose a deal, when you lose a job, when you lose a relationship that that is important to you. And you just have to stay calm and learn from it. How can I learn from it? And our team's success was based on a lot of failures that my earlier teams had. And so my team's failure, if my team won, they won. If my team lost, I lost. So it's a we when we win, and it was always a me when we lost. How can I help my team a lot of times get out of their own way? You learn from failure, and if you're not learning from failure, you're never going to be as successful as you should be. If you walk in my office, you don't see much mementos of the past because I've never been about yesterday. I'm always about today or tomorrow. And I think most people who meet you, when people talk about their past successes, that's kind of boring to me. I think people want to know, what can you do for me? What are you going to do for me? And so, yeah, look, I cherish those memories, but it's all about today.